if you thought, just like I did, that the Chinese balloon story was a one-off, something that would just be forgotten by the news cycle within a week or so, well, it looks like we were proven wrong. The Chinese balloons just seem to be coming and coming and coming. Case in point, just earlier today, it was revealed that under the orders of Joe Biden, the U.S. military has just shot down an unidentified object that was flying over the skies of Alaska. Here was Pentagon official John Kirby explaining the situation.
So I can confirm that the Department of Defense was tracking a high-altitude object over Alaska airspace in the last 24 hours. The object was flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet and posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flight. Out of an abundance of caution and at the recommendation of the Pentagon, President Biden ordered the military to down the object. And they did, and it came inside our territorial waters. Those waters right now are frozen, but inside territorial airspace and over territorial waters. Fighter aircraft assigned to U.S. Northern Command took down the object within the last hour.
Now, it's worth mentioning that at the moment, the Pentagon is now revealing whether this was another balloon. However, they did say that the object was roughly the size of a car, which would make it significantly smaller than the earlier balloon, the one that flew over Montana and the rest of the U.S., which is about 10 times that size. However, while the official statement said that the threat of this object was due to its low altitude, meaning that it could be a threat to civilian aircrafts, well, there might be another side to the story. For starters, we already discussed in great depth the possibility of the Chinese Communist Party strapping an EMP device to one of these balloons and taking out America's electrical grid. If you'd like to check out that earlier episode, I'll throw a link to it in the top right corner. However, since airing that episode, well, we here at the Epoch Times were able to uncover footage from China showing how, as recently as 5 years ago, the Chinese Communist Party was testing the capability of deploying hypersonic missiles using, you guessed it, giant balloons. The footage, which you can see up on your screen right now, originally aired on Chinese state-run television back in 2018. And what it shows is a high-altitude balloon, very similar to the one that made its way across America last week, carrying 3 hypersonic glider vehicles. The balloon then goes up and up into a high altitude before dropping the hypersonic glider vehicles for testing. And what's interesting is that despite the fact that this segment aired on CCTV, which is the main state-run broadcaster in China, it was actually later deleted by them. I wonder why. But of course, you can't really delete something on the internet, and so we were able to locate the clips. Now, in case you're wondering what those little hypersonic glider vehicles actually are, well, here are some 3D renderings of them. They were originally developed by the Institute of Mechanics within the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and the model numbers of those particular units are D18-3S, D18-1S, and D18-2S, going from left to right on that picture. And the way they typically work is that these hypersonic glider vehicles are normally launched from Earth by being strapped to a rocket just like a normal missile. However, once they reach orbit, the glider, which contains the payload, actually detaches from the rocket and flies through the atmosphere using its own momentum. The benefits of these weapons is their speed and maneuverability. Essentially, they are able to not only fly at about 5 times the speed of sound, which is why they're called hypersonic glider vehicles, but also they can maneuver while in flight, making them very hard to defend against. Because while you might see a hypersonic missile coming in and you only have a few minutes to react, you might assume it's going to Minneapolis, but then suddenly it changes course and instead goes to Chicago. That's the real danger of these missiles. They're fast and unpredictable. And it appears that the Chinese Communist Party has been, for at least the past 5 years now, testing the deployment of these missiles using high-altitude balloons. The very same type of balloons that they recently have been flying not only over America, but also into Latin America and other places as well, ostensibly on spy missions. But what's to say that these balloons weren't serving a dual purpose, both to spy in America as well as Latin America, as well as testing how close they can get to the heartland of the US in order to deploy either a hypersonic missile or some kind of an EMP device to blow out our electrical grid. However, setting aside the offensive capabilities for a moment, just yesterday, we here at the Epoch Times were able to speak with a U.S. official within the State Department who revealed to us what they found inside of the Chinese balloon that was shot down off the coast of North Carolina. Here's what he told to us under the condition of anonymity. Quote, The high-altitude balloon's equipment was clearly for intelligence surveillance and inconsistent with the equipment on board weather balloons. It had multiple antennas to include an array likely capable of collecting and geolocating communications. It was equipped with solar panels large enough to produce the requisite power to operate multiple active intelligence collection sensors. High-resolution imagery from U-2 flybys revealed that the high-altitude balloon was capable of conducting signals intelligence collection operations, meaning that this Chinese spy balloon was flying over top our missile silos as well as our nuclear depots, collecting and intercepting our communications. And of course, it's worth noting that despite Joe Biden's best wishes, allegedly, the top brass within our military actually overrode his original request to shoot the balloon down straight away, and instead, they allowed it to go all the way through America before shooting it down. Here was a clip of Joe Biden revealing this fact in a off-the-cuff remark to a reporter.
On Wednesday, when I was briefed on the balloon, I ordered the Pentagon to shoot it down on Wednesday as soon as possible. They decided, without doing damage to anyone on the ground, they decided that the best time to do that was as it got over water outside within the 12-mile limit. They successfully took it down, and I want to compliment our aviators who did it, and we'll have more to report on this a little later. Thank you.
Mr. President, what did you say about China? What's your message to China?
You were saying the recommendation was from your national security.
I told them to shoot it down.
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
But the recommendation
They said to me, let's wait till the safest place to do it.
And so that's the situation that we suddenly find ourselves in. The slowly simmering under-the-surface war between the U.S. and China seems to suddenly be heating up. The House of Representatives just unanimously passed a resolution condemning the Chinese Communist Party over these balloons. The U.S. military is opening up new bases in the Philippines and Guam in order to strengthen their position in the Pacific. You have Kevin McCarthy, who is allegedly planning a trip to Taiwan later this year. And now the Chinese regime is sending waves of balloons across the world, which at the moment appear to be spy balloons, but as we saw with the video clips, they could easily be turned into offensive weapons. I guess that's what you call sleepwalking your way into a war. If you'd like to read more about this unidentified flying object that was shot down over the skies of Alaska, or about these hypersonic missile tests that were conducted in northwest China 5 years ago, the video links to those, I'll throw all that down into the description box below this video so you can go deeper into the story if you'd like. And all I ask in return is that as you're making your way down there to the links, take a quick detour to smash those like and subscribe buttons so this video, as well as this content, can be shared out to ever more people. All right, the sponsor of today's episode is a phenomenal company called AMAC. That's AMAC, and it stands for the Association of Mature American Citizens. They are quite literally one of the fastest growing conservative organizations in all of America, and you should consider joining for three main reasons. The first is the money saving benefit, because as a member of AMAC, you get access to a ton of discounts at many different verticals. Things like vitamin stores, restaurants, retail shops, and so on and so forth. If you want to check out the full list, it's pretty exhaustive, you can do so over on AMAC's website. The second benefit is that you get exclusive access to the AMAC magazine. It'll be delivered directly to your doorstep, and it contains phenomenal coverage as well as deep analysis. And then the third benefit, the one that people say is their favorite, is that AMAC fights for your values over on Capitol Hill. In fact, you can check out the online version of this on their website. It's the AMAC Action Advocacy Annual Report, and it shows exactly what they're doing on Capitol Hill in terms of fighting what they call the socialist storm that's brewing in this country. So head on over to amac.us/factsmatter and sign up today. I'll also throw a link down in the description box below. And then until next time, I'm your host, Roman from the Epoch Times. Stay informed, most importantly, stay free.